Hello, athletes. Coach Corey here. Happy 2025. Want to cover some things. Speaking of it being a new year, is this time of year we get a lot of people looking to make changes in their lives. You know, the new year, new me. And number one, I'm all for that. I'm here for all that. I will be your cheerleader. Something that has become known in recent years is that the second Friday of January of the new year, which just passed a few days ago, is known as Quitter's Day. Which kudos to Apple for jumping on this in their latest ad campaign to get people to buy the Apple Watch that they talk about this. I've seen that commercial probably a dozen times since Friday, today being Monday. And I haven't watched a lot of television, so kudos. But basically, it's one of those people who've made New Year's resolutions. They say by the time we get to the second Friday of the new year, they've already quit them. And I want to talk about some things. I think every one of us go through this, whether it's the first of the year, it's the 13th of August, that we just want to make changes in our life. And sometimes I think when we do encounter those setbacks, it's because we're not taking some things into consideration. Something, especially when I'm coaching athletes and those that are new to the distance they may be running or training for, key things that I cover. So one is, I think when we decide we're going to make this change coming up, there's this overwhelming feeling of just the good feeling, just the warm feeling of something new, and it's exciting. And then whatever day we have established that that's going to happen, that day comes and it's here, and we're going to make those changes. And we start with making those changes. What no one really talks about, and I think this is where we tend to see why it does, like they say, the second Friday, a couple of weeks into the year, you start seeing people drop off, is not being respectful of the gap of time between starting something new and seeing results of something new. And that goes even further if you're training for a race, because then you're going to start something new. You're going to have 2 to 3 months of grind work to finally get to the finish line of where you want to get to. So I think what happens is, in the case where we want to make a change for, like, I just want to lose X amount of weight, I want to do this, I want to change my body this way, we get lost in that time frame between starting this new adventure and the time we start seeing results. And the problem is we tend to get discouraged and we beat ourselves up. We're very mean to ourselves. Instead of taking the moment and celebrating the fact we have decided to break whatever cycle of unhealthy, and that can be metaphysical or physical, for us, and to make a change to become a better person. The problem is, after a couple of weeks go by, we don't start seeing the results that we think we should see. And then we just decide to throw the proverbial baby out with the bathwater. Instead of understanding it's going to be a grind, instead of understanding it's going to take time before, I'll just use the example of working out. It takes 6 to 8 weeks before we start to see changes. Now, that's seeing changes. We're making those changes that you're doing, from changing your lifestyle and including fitness, happen internally, literally day one. You can look up the science. We just don't physically see that. It doesn't make its way out for another 2 months. That's very daunting, but no one talks about that when we're saying it's time to make changes. So what I'm saying is keep in mind, stick with it. The grind is your friend. And eventually, just like if you've ever run a race, like you guys know that I'm a runner, it's 1 mile at a time. Is it easy to get almost sad when I'm like, man, 26.2 miles, and then I get to mile 1, like, what am I cheering about? I got 25 plus more to do. No, it's, man, I handled mile 1. I feel good. Let's keep going. So you have to keep that in mind when we make these changes. And again, this coming off the new year, is you have to stick with that. You have to stick with that and celebrate yourself for having the maturity to make the change. Celebrate the small wins. Did you not get that extra snack you usually get? Did you work out for 10 minutes longer than you usually do? Did you lift a heavier weight? Did you run longer than you ever used to? Did you get on a treadmill for the first time ever? Celebrate that, because you deserve to be celebrated. And most importantly, you deserve to be celebrated by yourself, as in you deserve to celebrate you. So take that to heart. I hope you guys are doing okay. I hope the year's starting off well for you, and sending much love from my family to yours. And remember, I'm the running coach that you deserve. Queen Running Company. Empower your pace.